I want to thank you for jumping on the podcast with me today. Joining us today, we have a very powerful woman entrepreneur. And with that, please introduce yourself.
I am Teresa Gilchrist. I was born and raised in Washington, D.C. And I grew up there, went to school there, and went away to college for 1 year in West Virginia and chose to come back to Maryland University.
Okay.
So I love DC.
All right. So tell us about your business. What's the name of your business and what business are you in?
Well, the name of my business is Triune Solutions, LLC. And it was established back in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
And we primarily provide IT services and cybersecurity services. And our primary customers are Department of Defense, intelligence community, to provide those services. We've been around since 2011. And of course, we're woman-owned. We're glad to be HubZone, an 8A firm.
And so tell me, how did you get into that business? Is that what you went to school for? How did you find your way into IT and, government contracts?
Well, actually, it was interesting. This occurred previously. I had a construction business.
Okay.
And before that, or during that, I drove a Metro bus and Metro train. And so with the construction business, I was getting a little older and I said, because I learned from my uncle, I would get on roofs and I would walk around on stilts doing finishing. And I said, if I'm going to change, maybe now would be a good time.
Okay.
So I asked, at that time, I was a trustee and deacon at my church.
Okay.
And I asked a good friend, I said, what would be she was a fellow trustee and deacon too. What would be a good field? And she said, IT.
All right.
And so I started taking the certifications and said, I like this. And then that same entrepreneur spirit that I got from my mother kicked in, and talk about being in the right place at the right time. At that time, we were supporting NGA, and they were moving out, and DIA was moving in.
Okay.
And I was a systems engineer there.
Wow.
And someone said, hey, if you want, because she knows this building, if you want it done right, get her a company.
Okay.
I literally came home and started my business overnight.
Wow.
I asked the Lord, I said, what should I call it? God said Triune, which stands for the intersection between God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit.
The Trinity.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
And so we were, as they say, we were on and popping. And and so since some folks were some folks were going to be either laid off who didn't want to make the trip. So it was easy for me to get the employees. And at that time, I had started a nonprofit, Building Inside Out, and we were training cabling in the class.
Okay.
So talking about God moving, I literally emptied the class by hiring most of the people, because when you're doing data cabling, you often have two people.
Okay.
So I was able to place some of the students with the senior cable people that were already there.
Wow. So that's amazing. So let me so you started off driving the Metro bus and train, okay? Then you leaped into construction.
Yes, construction was interesting because I was doing rehabbing apartment buildings.
Okay.
That were, HUD for foreclosures that were closed up, boarded up. And I ended up having to fire my contractor.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't enough funds to get another contractor. So I had to pick it up.
Okay.
And in doing so, I realized I liked it. I said, I like this.
Right.
Something all boarded up, making it livable and giving people a place to live. So that started it. And then after a while, deciding that, hey, residential can be really challenging. I moved to commercial.
All right.
So,
wow. Okay, so you moved to commercial, then you went to IT.
Yes, when I decided that that maybe I didn't want to be walking around on stilts and being on top of roofs, that just in case. And
that's pretty wild.
I trusted this friend, and I said, okay, let me try it. And again, after doing it, I went, I like this.
Okay, so who is your ideal client for the IT business? So let's say, tell me who would you service?
Well, to tell you where we are now, well, right now it is the agencies, government agencies, and we also are subcontractors. We are glad to be a prime, so we have a couple of small prime contracts, hoping to grow into large prime contracts because of our contract vehicles.
Okay.
And we are subcontractors. What we're looking to do is to grow our footprint in the commercial again.
Okay.
So doing work like SOC NOC, Security Operating Center, Network Operating Center, because again, having a vision of, often they're separate, but they really can be together, and you will perform and provide better service when they are together.
Well, let me stop pretending like I know what you just said about SOC NOC. Tell me what that is.
Okay, so when you have a enterprise network, you have your router switches and so forth, and you may have desktops and VDI, and you have, you've been in government buildings, and they have several offices, and they have several. Well, the way that they obtain reaching their resources, getting to the internet, getting to other locations is hopping on a network infrastructure.
Okay.
And so, but as you know, cybersecurity is very, very, very important too, because things happen. And folks steal your data, they break down your network for various reasons. So you have those two components.
Okay.
But if you have a network engineer who is taking care of the network infrastructure, and you have a security person who is monitoring for data loss or any vulnerabilities, if you have those people together, because then those vulnerabilities have to be corrected. Well, that network engineer is right there. So that allows for faster detection and mitigation. That's what I mean by it gives you better performance.
Got it.
And I'm trying not to be too technical.
Okay, yeah, because you had just kind of with the.
I'm sorry, but that's 30 years. I have 30 years of IT experience.
All right, so that brings me back to how you and I got introduced. You and I have a mutual friend, Weedham Abdul. He's a realtor with Fairfax Realty. He and I are graduates at the University of Pittsburgh. We were friends. Then I get here and he's in real estate. And so he and I referred business back and forth, and he invited me to meet you. So that's what brought us together. So tell me, he mentioned, are you looking to do something in real estate again? So kind of tell me, people are probably wondering, how does this tie in with real estate? So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, that construction love, one of the things that I've done over the years is get land, be the general contractor for building a home. And so we've done the same thing. My life partner, Iris, and I, we bought a lot 16 years ago, or maybe 17 years ago, and we sold it last summer.
Okay.
So we bought it, I built the home, of course, because I was used to building homes.
Right.
And so since we're getting a little seasoned, we
Right.
sold that one, and we're going to buy another lot and
Okay.
build a home.
Okay.
But again, I like this, and also I like building homes, and the economy is right. So therefore, once we do it again, what will look better than to be able to say, hey, I built this home, just built this home, and we do a great job. So
Okay.
again, it's that diversifying, and currently I left that part out. We are doing some federal contracting construction contracts.
Okay. All right.
So it was a natural move.
Natural move to go. So you planning to build new construction homes as a builder? That's the goal.
Exactly.
Hey, okay. Perfect. So I mean, I've never met anyone like you, and I appreciate Weedham, bringing me into your world. The diversity and your fluidity between careers. You never let yourself get locked in, to doing one thing. You always like, hey, that's great, but there's more, and you explored, you found something you like. So let me recap this for folks that may not have caught it. Metro bus, Metro train here in DC. Then you went into construction company, rehabbing. And then you said, well, enough walking roofs and walking on stilts. I'm going to shift gears, get in the IT, start an IT company. And now you're going to, and doing some commercial work as well. And now you're going to bring all that back together and say, okay, I'm going to use all my skills and start building homes as a business, and keep the IT going too, correct?
Yes.
Wow.
And you know why?
Why?
With Jesus Christ, I can do all things. I did leave out, I am a minister of the gospel. When I retire, I'm getting my doctorate in theology and doing homeless ministry. All right.
But I'm definitely, with Jesus Christ, all things are possible. I believe that wholeheartedly. So I'm right there with you. And I appreciate you taking the time to share your businesses and your expertise with us. And I'm sure you're going to encourage some, not just women, but any young adult to say anything is possible, and don't allow yourself to get pigeonholed in one career. If it's not doing it for you, don't let nothing stop you to figuring out what it is that you want to do.
Yes. A lot of things are not rocket science, even though you may think so. But when you get in, you start having those aha, and that makes sense.
All right, so let's get ready to wrap this up. If you had some advice to give to any young person, let's say they come out of school, they start a job, these millennials, they jump into the jobs and they found out, I don't like this. What would you say to that person?
Well, start looking at other things. God is my business partner, so God is your partner. You just don't know God in the church. God is wherever you go.
Right.
So start looking for what's your next step. As they say, order your steps. What's your next steps? Look for those things and try it.
That you couldn't say it any plainer. I totally agree with that 100%. And so, Teresa, I thank you for jumping on. It's been a pleasure. And I'm sorry Weedham couldn't join us, but I definitely want to give him his kudos for bringing us all together. And so hopefully we can all do something together as we move forward into the future.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. So don't get off. So then what I'm going to do now is this is like the intro to the interview is this rapid fire thing. So I'm going to just throw some questions at you for 1 minute. And then, so I'm going to start with who are you? And you just say, I'm Teresa Gilchrist, born and raised in DC, business owner, blah, blah, blah. And so it's going to be real quick like that.
Okay.
All right. So let me start my timer. Okay. Let's set this up. You ready?
Ready.
All right, this is the rapid fire hot seat. I have my latest guest on. Who are you?
I am Teresa Gilchrist. I'm the president and CEO of Triune Solutions, LLC.
All right. Where are you from?
Born and raised in Washington, D.C., a native Washingtonian.
And what is Triune Solutions?
Triune,
Yes.
we provide network engineering, cybersecurity services. Our primary customers is the Department of Defense and Intelligence Community.
Is this your first business?
No, before IT, I ran a construction company that dealt with residential and commercial construction.
All right. And is this your last business?
No, I'm circling around, putting them all back together, and we will continue to do IT work and also building new homes.
Well, that's it for the rapid fire question. Thank you, Teresa, for being part of it. And I can't wait for the podcast to air. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So that's it. So that's how we'll wrap it up. And
Okay.
I appreciate it. So I got to edit it. I'll make sure any awkward moments are pulled out of it. And then when I post it, I'll send you the video too, so you can share it on your social media.
Okay.
So give me a couple of days.
good.
Probably like later this week, I'll get all dressed up.
Sounds good.
All right,
I
Teresa.
thank you for considering me.
No, I appreciate it. So, I mean, it was nice meeting you. And then when I heard what you did and then the real estate tie into it all, I mean, it just seemed like a great fit. So not only could you inspire somebody, it talks about being flexible and just following whatever thoughts you have. Don't let nothing stop you. And then the real estate tie-in was perfect. So I think it was just great.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for having me. Okay.
Well, thank you. You have a great day.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.